And welcome back to the hottest marriage show in the world. I am John D, aka Too Much, and this is my wife, Do. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
Doing well, thank you. I definitely wanted to mention, even though it's not doing it right now, but it was snowing in April. So I just know it was definitely snowing earlier. The sun has come out, but it's still April. So the entire month of April got snow at some point.
It's full spring.
What does full spring mean for those who don't know?
It's when you live in Michigan and everything points to you having entered into the spring season, and then Michigan come and smack you in your mouth with some snow and be like, nah, we still got a little bit of winter coming through. So all the fools feel like it's spring. They start wearing their spring jackets and, dressing less and going out more. And then you turn around and it's cold, and now you got to go back and get your triple fat goose on.
Yeah, I guess I totally understand that now. I guess I didn't understand that before. I kind of like understood, but the way that you went in depth with it, I definitely understand. I wanted to touch on something. For those of you that don't know, we have another dog, and you can hear him in the background.
He's super cute.
His name is Bruno.
We don't talk about Bruno.
And that's where the name came from. Those of you that are following, we definitely got that name from there. And he's not responding too well to Bruno, but he's really a good dog.
He's super cute.
And he's a little wild. I think he's going to end up bullying Kingston.
I don't think so. I think they're going to be all right though.
I don't know, but I hope he lays down because he's going to make me punch him in his throat.
He won't really punch him in the throat, y'all.
Oh, I will. Nah, anyway. Maybe I won't. But what I wanted to talk about was, I wanted to ask you, do you think that everybody that's born has a talent?
Oh. Yeah, I do. There are some that I feel like everybody has a talent, but there are some who can have multiple. But yeah.
So do you think that everybody finds their talent?
No, I don't. Well, this is the thing. I think that there are some talents you have that they're not necessarily like dancing or, artist, or it's something that people generally wouldn't look at and say, oh, that's their talent. But I just feel like it's your gift.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So everybody has a gift.
I feel like everybody has a gift. Sometimes I think that, like, say your gift is being an artist, but all of your childhood, your family wasn't able to, put you in a position where you could explore that talent or that interest or what have you. You may find it in your adulthood. You may not find it at all. I think it's just there are certain talents that you need those avenues to be able to express them.
Ways. So the gifted aspect, everybody has a gift, but depending on how you grow up, you may not be able to get exposed to that gift.
Yeah, I think some people's gifts is they express it from the beginning. Some people, they need certain avenues in order to be able to explore it and express it.
All right. So what's the point of having a gift if you can't get to it?
I don't know. I think that the general, I feel like if everything went the way the universe possibly wanted it, without humans interfering, we'd all have those basic needs met and in those positions where we could explore ourselves more freely, but not all the time.
So the reason why I'm asking is, me going through my journey of trying to figure out what's the purpose of life and find out the significance of everyone. So, like, what dictates a person who makes it and the person who doesn't? Like, because I think we have seen several different people come from different backgrounds, some backgrounds way worse than what we're aware of, and they made it. Mm-hmm. So why is one person able to pull through versus another person who's not, in your opinion, or, you know, in your perspective?
I think that comes from, it's like they say, there are a lot of talented people in the world, but you got to have the grit and the motivation to make it something where you can live from it or excel in it. Like, there are people that I know that have beautiful singing voices, but they will only sing in a church. They're not interested in anything beyond that. So they don't have any motivation beyond that to do that.
But who's to say that's their gift?
Well, and that goes into my whole thing of you can have multiple gifts. So maybe that's not a gift that drives them.
What if it's not a gift? They just can sing better than some people. Like, we assume that because if they're not going to use it for whatever, well, maybe they're using it the way that they want to use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, what do you think determines a gift then? Because to me, I feel like if I was growing up and somebody says you have a gift and we're going to do our best as parents to help you find this gift, and we hope that whatever we give you allows you to look for your gift. Hopefully you find it sooner than later. Mm-hmm. Like, does that change the motivation of the person? Like, as a kid, would that have changed you? Like, would you look at life differently?
Nobody talking about my gift.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why? Like, I think now I feel like if we can help people take a more purposeful walk toward their gift, the world would be better. Like you said, if the universe came together and everybody, you know.
Well, I was just saying if nobody was like stressed and struggling, because, you know, if I got to feed people, I'm not going to be as worried about, you know, pursuing things that I love and it's my talent, but it's not going to put the food on the table that I need. So I was saying, you know, if everybody's needs were met where we weren't stressed about how we'll make ends meet, maybe we'll be more open to exploring. I think that, you know, you take that stress away, that survival mode thing, then people can be more open and explore themselves. Do you feel like everybody has a talent or a gift?
I do.
What do you think about, well, never mind, because I guess I was thinking to myself, we can see talents and gifts in people. It doesn't necessarily mean that they see it or identify it as a talent or a gift either.
So if I can be honest with you, just hearing you say that, I can't determine what's a talent or a gift for somebody, because I don't know what it looks like. And when I say that, I just thought about like people that just even the game, like, okay, I studied the game of basketball to the point where in my head, up until like, let's say 40, before these last 3 years, I can tell when somebody's really good, but I can't tell if they can make it to the league. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people can be like, oh, he's talented, because I was thinking about maybe everybody in the NBA is not talented. No, they're just better than everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, and because I feel like there are people with better work ethics than some of those players. Like if I'm really good, like I was thinking.
So then what makes somebody talented?
I don't know. I just told you I can't really tell. I can't tell anymore because if I can say this person, like I've had a couple of students from my past that go to the NBA. And I couldn't tell when they were in middle school. I could tell that they were better than, but I couldn't tell. Like, I saw some kids that were better, but something happened.
They had that motivation that pushed them to develop their talent or their gift. Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, when you said if we're all on an equal playing field, I think that's going to just change somebody else's will. Like, you think that it's going to make it like they want to do it even more. I feel like if you can get through the BS, when you do get to your talent, you can appreciate it more. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's the way that I'm looking at it. But what I was telling you, like, I can't really tell what is talent, or I can tell you from my experience, being in education, I know when a student is a little further than the kids in his peer group. Yeah, but I can't say that he's going to do well in life either, because I haven't figured out, even through all the years I've been in education, I can tell who's going to be safe. I can tell that they're not going to
I got you.
But I can't tell who's going to change the existence of. So when I said that, if everybody has a talent, how can we get there to, because I think if people won't use their talent for bad, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this, turning more inward. What's your talent or gift?
Well, if I can say, looking now, I think it's the ability to believe in people.
Oh my God. Hey, that is not a lie. To a fault, y'all. I'd be like, are you serious? I believe that they can do it, sir.
And the reason why I say that is because even the person that I am now, and I look back, and when I have conversations with you, when I told you, do you think I'm too open or you're too closed? You was like, I'm comfortable where I am.
Oh, I am, most certainly.
And me, I'm like, I feel like if I don't have that faith in people, I'm going to be closed off.
I believe that people can be great. I'm just going to ask you to choose, to prove it a little bit before I just start handing out certificates and stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if people had a perspective that the way that I grew up, wouldn't you think the world would be better? Because nobody would they wouldn't second guess, like, okay, he has good intentions.
Okay, so let me separate this real quick. So can we define it as a gift is an ability, but a talent is like a skill? Okay. Because when we're sitting here talking, I'm like, you have the ability to see the best in people, okay, but it's not necessarily a skill like doing basketball. So
I don't think it's a skill at all.
Are we talking about, so when we're looking at this broad conversation, are we talking about people being gifted?
Gifted, like skill talented? You can learn over, like that's why I said some NBA players, they gained those skills over time. They weren't gifted. You know what I'm saying?
They weren't gifted, but they are talented.
Because they've
honed their skill. Okay.
So when I say gifted, I mean
the slow one, and everybody else knew what we were talking about.
When I say gifted, that means you already got it. You know what I'm saying? So
you are gifted with believing in other people.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could do, because even now I still believe in people. I just don't talk to them as much. You know, I feel like people are caught up in whatever the hustle and bustle of their day, right? But I still believe that they're good people. Like, I feel like their situation causes them to make bad decisions. You know, like if I'm in, like, let's just like now when you say, John, you've had this time to reflect and, you know, you found yourself. And I'm like, if I'm in this place and I'm like, if I can give some words to somebody so that they could get closer to this place, and then maybe that was a seed or whatnot. But I think ultimately you made this happen for me. Yeah, just think about it. Like, I mean, I still feel like we planned, you know, for me to do this, but you just talking about the other day when you was like, I was like, I could have gone back to work, and you was like, I needed you to have this time. And then I thought about what you were saying to me, because I just want y'all to know. So in my mind, I thought this podcast was going to take off because of the way that I view life, and I'm working hard and I'm constantly working on communication, that this was going to take off. But you know, my wife was like, okay, it's not. So we've had this plan for you to go back to work. So, you know, like, but I was mad at her because I was like, if I knew that you really wanted me to go back to work, I could have gone back sooner, just because as the man in my head, I was like, I could have provided, I wouldn't have had you to go through this feeling of, you know, this discomfort I gave you about not being able to provide financially because I'm not working.
Yeah. Well, just to be fair. So some years back, John allowed me to go back to school, nursing school full time, and not work. and he juggled everything financially for us. And then when we went to Abu Dhabi, there was a year where, was it 2 years? It was a year where, no, it might have been 2 years.
Yeah.
Wait, the kids stayed home for 2 years and then they went to school for 2 years?
Yeah.
Okay. So there were 2 years.
No, so it was
so there's 1 year that I didn't work. Sorry,
Yeah.
y'all. So there was 1 year that I did not work. And he didn't stress me about it too much, but he was like, hey.
Well, I didn't the reason why I said that, because our life changed so much by them going back to school. Yeah.
But what I was saying was like, he definitely, with nursing school, he allowed me he took the weight so that I could find another career path that made me feel better about going to work every day. And so he wanted to leave education. And I know what it's like to be in a field and you're like, please, if somebody would just let me out. And so before he got back here, we had an agreement, like you would take the first 6 months off. He wanted to really get an idea of podcasting and what he would need to do, and not even just that, being able to take 18 months away from your family and have to reacclimate to being a part of 4 or 5, because we brought Darius like a week or 2 after John got here, or a month. But just getting back into being an everyday father and an everyday husband, that was a lot of transitioning. And I just felt like not only did those 6 months offer you time to explore your new interests, but it gave you a chance to kind of get back and get to know us instead of jumping back into work and only seeing everybody, for a few hours out of the day. It just didn't feel good. And because of what he allowed for me, I felt like he deserved that too. But when January 1st came, his sister was like, hey, and he was like, hey. But
yeah, I see that I can say, like, looking back, I know I was caught in the clouds.
But I definitely didn't want you to feel like I should have been working since I got back.
And that's what I want to take away from you, because I was like, I know that I wouldn't have been the person I am today if I were to go back, because I did definitely, those months were definitely utilized. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to say that, like, I do appreciate the perspective of, because, I was just in the mindset like, well, if you were thinking like this, I need to be providing, you know what I'm saying? But that definitely helped shape the person that I'm becoming. So,
and we're not, it's not like we're struggling. It's just that I was like, okay, so now that's launched and we're kind of like, we got new things that we have set up for 2022, 23. So let's start beefing up so it's not like, I know that it felt, I didn't seem to be, what do I want to say, anxious. There was no sense of urgency, but it's more of, we're good, but we could be better. So while we're waiting for something to happen, let's make sure we got other things running in the background. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, I think, so I have an interview coming up and I'm supposed to present. And just listening to what you said, like, I have a lot of, I guess, information, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm supposed to present this information to make it lucrative for people that's a lot younger than me, or even my age or older or whatever. And I really did get clouded from what I thought I'm doing what it takes. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, it's almost like the King Richard, we was like, what made his wife like let him take on that task and say, this is going to change our life? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So in my head, I'm like, I know that I'm doing everything, but I don't, because just recently I realized that even though I have a regimen of what I'm doing to stay productive, it still isn't the formula of where I was thinking like, this is going to get me to this place. So it's just like being patient and kind of just trusting the process. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, I guess all of that, I wanted to kind of focus on the talent and gifted aspect of life. Like if somebody's gifted, what does one look like to be able to find their gift? You know, like, because like Kanye West, Jay-Z, LeBron James, Mary J. Blige, I'm thinking of Chris Rock, Will Smith, these entertainers, right? Mm-hmm. Like they started at such a young age and just, you know, like they just held the test of time. Mm-hmm. Like, so were they gifted in did they, was that their gift, or did they have the tools to find greatness in something that they were good in? You know, like, because like let's say you got this voice, right? Mm-hmm. But if nobody tells you like this is what it's gonna take, you know, like I can hear it in you, but if you don't do this, you can't do this. But if you don't know this part that you gotta do, it's like so did those people I just named, were they gifted with the idea of recognizing what hard work pays off, what it looks like? Because I feel like if you give me the blueprint of how I'm supposed to be successful at a young age, if I'm not following along, at least I'm gonna look back and say, what am I doing wrong at some point?
But I think it has to be that people are passionate about whatever their talent or gift is, and enough where they're like hungry to do it. Like, so recently my family and we met in my mother's hometown, and the goal was really so I could spend some time with my younger brother. But he was going to spend 4 days in libraries and like museums and things of that nature to learn more about our family history. By the time he was done talking to us, I was like, Kyle, you should be doing this. Like, this should be what you do. He said, if I were able to work as a historian, that would be the closest thing to not ever having had a job, like not having a job. It's like, because that's how much he loved it. If he had to do it every day, it would never feel like he was going to work. That's the kind of passion. And so he starts talking to me, okay, so this is what I would need to do. He was like, it never really crossed my mind to pursue it. But part of his college degree is in history. You know what I'm saying? So even though it's a passion and a thing that he loves, it never crossed his mind to make it his day-to-day of what he wants to do. And now when he's thinking about it, like, he met with these historians and they're running through all these different things, and he knew some things that they didn't know. And so they were exchanging information, and it kind of, I think it fed him even more, where he was like, I could be doing what they're doing and feel like I never have a day of work. And I think that he is in his 30s. And even though he knows it's a passion and he has that focus in himself to want to put things together and fit puzzles together, mm-hmm. It never crossed his mind. So now it has. And I think that had he not had this opportunity to really dive into this stuff and only think about the history and the genealogy and where did this land come from, if he hadn't had that, he probably would have never realized that this is really where he should be going.
Yeah, but I mean,
and he's at a point where he can make that turn. You know what I'm saying? I think that it goes like that with a lot of people. You can be good at a lot of stuff. Like, I can do a lot of things. It doesn't mean I really care to. I could do a lot of things better than some other people. Doesn't mean that I care to do it. I think that it's the love and the passion for what you're doing. It's the high you get from it that drives people to want to hone it and make it their every day.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, what I've been reading, that's why I was questioning those people I named earlier. Like, who says that was their passion? Maybe like their gift was to know the steps of what it takes. Just like I'm trying to think who, like Andre 3000.
Love him.
Yeah, and he's so introspective, right?
Right.
So Like that's not like, he doesn't like that. He doesn't like to write and all of that. He doesn't like the things that come with it.
It's a talent. It's a skill he has, but it's not his passion.
Yeah.
But it's a gift. It's an ability that other people like it.
I know that's what I'm saying though, is sometimes when I read about him, I wonder if he's happy that he found it.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
I'm like, see, ultimately I want people to, if you look at Andre 3000 and say, you know, he has a gift and he feels that way, I wouldn't want to chase my gift if I could look like dang man, he's so like, he makes me feel this way and he feels like that. Like
but maybe his gift and pursuing that gave way for him to be able to enjoy his passions more now. Because, I mean, people would love to have him on a track, but right now he just kind of is doing his thing.
He's been kind of doing his thing for a long time.
Yes. But whatever it is, he might be enjoying it because he ain't coming back to the mic. But
I bet if he and I sat down that I would get him back on the mic. And I'm going to tell you why, though.
Why?
Because he's looking for answers in the wrong places.
Well, I don't know what answers he's looking for, but I do feel
he's
like,
looking for peace. He's looking for peace, and he
who says he doesn't have it?
No, I'm going off of what I've read about the reason why he stepped away.
Oh, okay.
And, and to me, I felt like, if you're in a mindset that it's all about money and fame, then you can't understand that it's deeper than that for him.
Well, I think that there are some people who may be in it for the money and the fame, but I think a lot of those people, they do it for their passion or their love of what it is. Like, and once you get too many hands in the pot that make it stop being fun and about the love of it,
yes,
then you're willing to let it go.
So that is so awesome, because we're gonna just go back to the love of basketball, and I learned that there's really levels of the passion for the game that some people's just not aware of. Mm-hmm. Like I've been listening to, I have currently been listening to so many different podcasts, but the ones that's featured on basketball players, and I get to listen to how they think. Just listening to different players on people who play for money that don't believe they're playing for money, and then realize that they were playing for money, and then people that really play this way, and it doesn't matter how much money it is, and you can hear it the way that they talk. But those people who are playing for money that don't know that they're playing, if they knew it, they would have changed their game. That's why I said it's like certain information is like, why didn't I know that? And I don't want to say their names, because to me, I feel like I don't want it to look like negative, but I think people want to do good. But if you don't know a better way to do it or a different way to look at it, you're going to only look at it from your place of childhood to like young adulthood, whatever curved your perspective then. And I think about all of your insecurities. All of your insecurities, well, in my mind, came from our parents. And like whatever we don't figure out, we have to think that the kids are going to get those. Like your parents don't know that they're creating, the reason why I thought about this is because this dog we got, Bruno. So I have whooped him a couple times because he peed on the floor or boo-booed on the floor, right? And maybe the second day, do you remember when he went to sleep and it was like he was having a bad dream? And in my head, I'm like, did I do enough to give this guy a bad dream? And I'm like, because we already know where he came from. He seemed like he was in that, you know what I'm saying? So when you were gone with Day, he still sits by me. Yeah. And he was having another dream, I guess. And then I kind of like was rubbing him like you did. But for some reason, my rub made him wake up out of his dream, and he looked at me and I was like, yikes.
This dude is a monster.
Yeah, but when he came out of it, he was like, and then he laid right back on my feet. Okay. And I was just like depending on your environment, it can distract you. Like,
oh, you done traumatized the baby.
Yeah, that quick. And I was like, I got to do better. But
yeah, Well.
Yeah. So the whole idea of more information, I think, like just a podcast like this, learning more information will create a buzz for a person's life, I think. Like, oh, I didn't think to look at it that way. And then maybe I could look at, so that's what I'm saying. It's like, the more things we talk about, it could spark somebody to like, you know what? I've never found my gift. What can I do to go get this thing and see if I like it or not? If I'm that good and then I decide I don't want to do it because I don't like what comes with it. Like I feel like if everybody took some ownership in finding their craft, the world would get better. And that's just because I'm an optimist and I believe in people.
You do. However, I feel like it's not just that, but are you purposefully putting your gift or talent to work to better the world? I don't think just because you know what your gift or talent is and you work in it, that it's necessarily benefiting everyone else.
Well, I think that if you have certain insecurities or something that's preventing you from enjoying whatever your gift is, you have to still get help. I think just because you find your gift don't mean you a balanced person. Yeah.
Oh, well, in your first statement, I just thought you were saying, if everybody knew their gift or talent.
Oh, no. I think people would be a lot happier to say,
individuals would be happy.
Everybody would be like, I'm glad I found it, even though I didn't like it. You don't be like, I don't know what my gift is. Like, like.
Well, even like now it's making me think, okay, let me sort out what are my gifts versus my talents, because it's a difference.
That's what I'm saying. So I didn't even look. I didn't even think to do that to you, and I was just thinking like, what is it? Like, do we think about those things? Are we just caught up in like, how can we make more money so we can go on this trip? Instead of like, what am I really good in? How can I hone it to the point where you can't be ignored anymore? And then that's what I've been trying to work on in the aspect to get so good where people like, damn, I ain't think about that. So hopefully we can make that happen. Okay. But is there anybody that you wanted to give a shout out today? Anything that's on your brain?
I want to give a shout out to my brother, both of my brothers. So my younger brother this past weekend, like I said, it was great listening to him like seek out this information and teach me. It was exciting to hear some of the things we learned over the last weekend. And a shout out to my older brother, because we are buying this house and they sent me that mortgage, once you move past the inspections and you're going toward appraisal and they kind of lay out everything as far as closing costs, the numbers wasn't numbering. And I was like, hold on.
The numbers weren't what?
They weren't numbering. The math wasn't mathing. And I was like, wait a minute. And one of my brother's many talents, he understands, like he used to work in mortgages. And so he was able to walk me through a lot of it. And I'm just really thankful for the people around me who continue to teach me. And I know I have people to call on when I need help. So shout out to my brothers, my right and my left lung.
For sure. Shout out to both of y'all, because if she stopped breathing, y'all gonna have to get in her body and make sure she keep breathing.
We need it.
My shout out goes to you. I really reflected a couple days ago about our communication has gotten so much better. It's like, at least mine has. It's made me feel like you understand me a little more. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it makes our conversations, well, I don't know if you haven't been keeping up, I've made my wife feel a certain type of way sometimes with particular topics of discussion. And I'm trying to get to the point where she doesn't feel like that, so that I can understand more about her. A lot of times as a man, in the way that I grew up, my communication skills are limited, and it sounds like I'm yelling when I'm like, this is the best way I know how to communicate. So now I feel like I'm taking more of a active effort to make sure she doesn't feel, that feeling that you like, oh, I wish she stopped talking feel, or that feel like today is not the day feel. I don't want to be associated with any of that. So I think that her patience has allowed me to like feel like I'm getting closer, because our interactions are a lot more meaningful versus combative, or even like when we have debates now, like sometimes I got to say, hey, look, just give her an idea. Like, it ain't supposed to go this way.
Look, I'll be pulling out the swords.
It just happened yesterday. And I'm just like, look, if you're feeling that way, look, just say, stop it. Like, so that I can reflect and say, oh, this is when it happened. So thank you. Shout out to you, to my heart, because, she's showing me that there's so much more to love that I didn't know existed.
Aww.
Yeah, I love you.
Love you too.
And for the rest of you guys, make today better than yesterday. Don't worry about anything you can't control. GATA. Get after that action, or that action will get after you.
Boom.